talking, and I need more of a show right now. It's time that you made your mind up, 'cause lately all it ever does is change. Feels like we're only talking, going round and around, back around. I will fight like no other every day. I won't stop like the others. I will stay. 'Cause now is the right time, and I'm feeling alright. I'm playing your game like I know I can win right now. You got me on tonight, 'cause loving you is like I'm walking a tightrope so high. I won't be turning around, no, I won't be turning around. It's the right time, you feeling alright. I'm playing your game like I will win tonight. I think I'll do it on my way. I'm gonna show you what I'm going through, get you out of your comfort zone, 'cause I need more of the truth right now. It's time that you made your mind up, 'cause lately all it ever does is change. Feels like we're only talking, going round and around, back around. I will fight like no other every day. I won't stop like the others. I will stay. 'Cause now is the right time, and I'm feeling alright. I'm playing your game like I know I can win right now. You got me on tonight, 'cause loving you is like I'm walking a tightrope so high. I won't be turning around, no, I won't be turning around. It's the right time, you feeling alright. I'm playing your game like I will win tonight. Don't forget it, don't forget it, don't forget it. We'll turn this around. Don't forget it, don't forget it, don't forget it. We'll turn this around.
Hey everybody, welcome to Geeksvana Live. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. We've got a lot coming up tonight, a lot of exciting stuff to tell you. Excuse my my guests being very noisy in the background there. Unfortunately, you can still hear their audio. You just can't find professionals to work with these days. It's terrible, really. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. I also want to thank everybody for joining us last night. So really, I'm saying thanks for last night. It was a fantastic stream where we obviously brought the update on the Microdrone 4.0 story, and tried to bring a little bit more light to some of the darkness that's been coming around that recently, especially with all the propaganda from the campaign owner. Very pleased to say that we sorted our little donation. As you remember, the live chats started coming in, super chats started coming in last night, which we're always very grateful for. But there was a particular comment from Vernon that he didn't like it and don't give Geeksvana money, etc., that type of thing. So we actually took that money, and as you can see here, we donated that to a food bank today, which was £120. And the main reason it was gone to a food bank is actually one of Vernon's previous comments. If you watch our live stream from last night, you'll see that there was a comment where basically a backer who is standing in line at a food bank asked for a refund and was refused. So we've kind of tried to switch that round on him. But yes, but thank you everybody that joined us, and thank you for everybody that chose to donate. I really appreciate it. Tonight, we're going to be joined by Andrew Hamilton, the former CAA drone lead, who now, of course, works with Andrew McQuillan over at Crowded Space Drones. You'll know Andrew McQuillan very well as effectively a co-host on the channel, and certainly I would call him a regular. Andrew Hamilton, you'll know, is the man who works for a company who won't give him decent Wi-Fi at hotels.
Yep.
It's probably how you best know him.
I'm going to team up with Vernon, because that's slander.
Well, yes, thank you. Hey, don't say that, you'll start getting emails from him. Tonight we're also going to be looking at we have a special announcement, which is the whole reason why Andrew Hamilton's here with us today, so we'll come on to that. But after that, we're going to be looking at working in the UK with things like a Mini 2, Air 2, what type of work to aim for, and tips or tricks and qualifications that might help. Obviously help myself. I'm an A2 CFC holder. I'm about to take the GVC, and of course we have a lot of professionals in the room tonight, as is often the case now in Geeksvana. So I thought we would we would attempt to scoop out some knowledge from their brains, which sounds really psychotic, doesn't it? But never mind. We're also going to be looking at the DJI FPV drone. You would have seen the live unboxing. I know you've seen a lot of these things, but we're going to be talking about some of the positivity and negativity that's out there. But very quickly, I just have to... I have to press that, as Johnny DRC was saying in the chat. I have to press that at least 10 times a day. It's kind of become a bit of an OCD thing for me, but there we go. So first impressions. I haven't actually flown it yet, but there's been a lot of interesting feedback out there. Quite a few interesting videos, which I want to talk about as well. We've also, of course, got our fantastic co-host, Stephen Sutton of the Flyby Guys. We're going to be having a chat with him about what's going on his channel and what's going on with his life and his wonderful international travels and everything else like that. That's we have a lot to be getting on with this evening, so we should probably bring in the guests, shouldn't we, really? And here they are. Hi, guys. How are you?
Evening.
Yeah, very good. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
Yes. Yeah, very good. Just very quickly in the chat, thank you, everybody, for joining us. It's great to see the usual crowd in here. Skycam Video. Johnny Drone Flyer, hi. Good to see you. Len Hartley. Hello, sir. Peter Price. Rick Leslie. Digit Mark, Metal Detecting UK. Hello, sir. Good to see you again. Ben Cartwright. Shippers Dronefield. Mark Smith, Weevil in the Box. Hello, sir. Great to see you. Yes, as Vernon says, I'm paid by DJI, and then he says, "Oops, wrong chat." Yeah, it's you know, I enjoy a good laugh about these things, but of course, it's a very serious subject, and we will keep that serious tone from the point of view of chasing this story down to its very end. And there's a lot going on behind the scenes on that side of things. Johnny DRC was very early in the chat and wanted to check on my FPV drone, because anybody that watched the Coast to Coast live stream last night, where I was a guest on there with a few other people, would see that I turned my FPV drone on and off about 20 times in that one stream, which is a little bit embarrassing when I went back to rewatch it this morning. So like you wake up in the morning, like, what did I do last night? Did I turn my FPV drone on and off 20 times on someone's live stream? Oh, and there's actually no alcohol involved as well, which is pretty shocking. So Andrew, how are you guys?
Yeah, very good. Thank you.
Excellent. You have some very exciting looking logos on shirts and in backgrounds and everything, and of course we had on our thumbnail tonight, we had a teaser saying time for a masterclass ? And there is actually now a link in the description to Drone Masterclass, so everybody should go and have a look. Could you tell us a little bit about what Drone Masterclass is, please?
Go for Andrew.
You kick off.
Well, so for a while now, since I left the CAA, obviously I joined Andrew's outfit, and I've been quite interested in looking at the teaching side of things. I think I've been in quite a unique position as a police officer. I've dealt with enforcement of drone offences. I've warned people. I've spoken to people who have got it wrong, probably don't understand what they have got wrong. And then I left the police. Then I joined the CAA, and from a regulatory side of things, I've done audits and I've been involved with the RAEs, NQEs, and so I've sort of had a taste for it. And then obviously I went and joined with Andrew and discussed with him what we could do and how we could take the crowded space drones forward. And we discussed the RAE side, and we thought we would tie it in with the new regulations, because new regulations are always complicated and the aviation industry is even more complicated. So I thought there must be a way of teaching this way in a more of a unique way, put it that way. And so we got together some ideas and come up with Drone Masterclass.
Well, from our perspective as well, so people won't realise, but we've been teaching university level courses since about 2011 in various different fields. So we have a sort of good pedigree in terms of background training, and different things. So the training thing was something we weren't actively pushing for until Andrew joined, and then we realised that actually there was a decent gap in the market where people needed some certain types of training rather than just being another competitor in the training market. So that's why Andrew and I have worked on that. It's taken a good few months working with the CAA closely to get that approved. And also for us, it wasn't just about having a course out there. It was about doing it in a way which is, we think is not just better than others, but sort of it suits more learning styles. So one of the things we're, I think, ahead of the curve on is we're going back to in-person training.
Excellent.
COVID secure venue. So basically it's normally a training room for 30 and we're using 12 in it so we can keep everyone distance apart. Okay. I think that's one of the things missing, because everyone's focusing on the online bit, which is a big part of what we've launched today. But equal as well, not everyone learns online, especially people who are sort of older, like Andrew here. Or,
vouch for that.
But you know, we want you to come and do it in a way that suits you. So you could do it all online and then do a flight test if you're doing a GVC, or you can do it in person or a bit of both. So basically, we want the people to have the flexibility that suits them, because you can't. It's not our job as a training company to force you to do things our way. It's our job to be flexible, so we help you learn.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's actually, I've had quite a few emails and direct messages and that type of thing from people. In fact, I had an email today from somebody who was very frustrated because he was struggling to get his hours up from the point of view of for the A2 CFC. And he's been very diligent. He's actually doing the hours. You know, he's actually trying to do the flying so he's done it properly, which so many people do. And I have had that feedback that people would like to see someone actually, you know, and be able to interact, have that classroom time, and even do things like, you know, flight tests, etc., so that they know that all the things they've learned when they actually go to deploy that, even just the A2 CFC, that they know what they're doing. You know, there's still that nervousness when you put the drone into the air, having taken one of these courses which are exclusively online. Some people like that, some people don't. That you still have that sort of nervous feeling of, am I doing this right? Have I missed something completely off? Which of course things like in-person training and flight tests, etc., can really help.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think from the COVID side of things, in terms of the fact that pushed the CAA to put things online essentially. But one of the things that I know, I've done lots of different professional courses and things as a student. One thing some people find really hard is the exam part, because they just get completely stressed out. And doing it online, and you have to be video recorded doing it live and via Zoom and things, that's the CAA rule, not ours. And I think some people prefer just to do it online, then come into our office and do the exam there, because it's less stressful.
Yeah.
For them. So I just think we shouldn't be a hindrance. No training company should be a hindrance to people getting out flying. We are trying to enable them in as many ways as possible that suits them.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. On a slightly sidestep subject, we'll come back to the drone masterclass bit in just a moment. But one thing that actually came up today in one of my conversations was, I wondered whether it would be feasible. It's a bit like when you're learning to drive a car. Of course, you drive on the roads that you're going to drive on once you've passed your test. Of course, you have an instructor with you, so you have that. They have that dual operator benefit. But I wondered whether there was an option that the CAA should look at for people taking things like the A2 CFC, where they give them an allowance, some kind of certification, temporary, to say you can fly in the A2 airspace with your A2 aircraft for 3 hours to get that experience. Because some people do struggle from the point of view that their flights in the middle of a field, which they're allowed to do without it, will be very different to the flights they're then going to do. So actually, once they pass, they're then sort of okay, now I can fly in a town centre, but I'm a little bit nervous about doing it still.
Yeah, I think it's difficult, as you say. You've got to fly in the A3, but under A2 sort of conditions, and I think that's going to be the hardest bit for a lot of people. But yeah, I think the whole thing is quite challenging because of what the legislation says. So I'm not sure that will come in. I think people will just have to do it.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think it will. No, indeed, yeah, no.
The old school
because you always have to, and that's what I explained to the person I was having the conversation with, is that, of course, the difficulty with regulation and with policing and everything else like that is, of course, is that you can't regulate or police for the sensible middle ground that will carry out all the safety checks, etc. Somebody can download a form from the CAA, they'll just go crazy sometimes, you know, and then we'll start having, you know, Mavic 2 Pros hitting buses, and it turns out the person's got an allowance from the CAA to be there. That would be, you know, terrible from a regulatory point of view. But it's a shame. But I suppose, therefore, having the ability to speak to the trainers behind the scenes more as well, and being able to come in for the exams and that type of thing, it does give you that slightly better one-on-one approach. That you do get, because I like classroom learning. I have to say, I was about to do my PFCO before everything happened, and then of course the firstly the EASA things got announced, and then CAP 722. And one of the things that was exciting about the PIFCO was actually how much of it was classroom based. So I think it's good to hear that someone is moving back to do that. Of course, you're moving to do that because it's brand new training. But no, it's very exciting.
I think we have the benefit of sort of, because we haven't come in the sort of COVID rush where people are rushing to get stuff out, we've been able to take our time since last year and just get it right, so that we were able to make sure the website was as simple and clear as it needed to be. and also the process is making sure that we're looking at this from a fresh set of eyes and making sure it's a simple and straightforward process. Some others probably have just had to quickly get online rather than be able to spend time. I think that's the benefit we have is we'll be able to look at completely fresh and put in place procedures and the right learning system, and even just making the log of your hours that you need to complete and things beforehand, and putting your flight in, making it as simple and straightforward as possible. So that's the benefit of time more than anything else.
Yeah, indeed.
Well,
Exactly.
But I think one thing which is really good is that at least you actually have set this up. So this is actually available for people, actually in the UK. Here in Finland, we don't have that for the 2 category. It's just not available because we actually have a waiver for the 2 until the end of April, because there is no classrooms actually available. There's no companies that are actually doing it.
It's quite bizarre, isn't it, that we've kind of, there's a few things since, and whatever your politics are with Brexit and everything else like that, but it's bizarre that there's a few things we've actually been ahead of as a country, and I think that having that sort of smaller regulatory space to deal with has perhaps put us ahead a little bit, because of course with the EASA they have to deal with all those member states and getting things live across them and giving everyone dispensation, etc., and that type of thing. But no, it's I have to say it is very exciting that we already have the rules in place and the abilities, and it's also exciting that we've got little things like the sub 250 gram exemptions and that type of thing, from the point of view that it's opened up the hobby a little bit more, and I do see a lot more positivity out there, which is excellent. Now I have a little clip to play, which is the Drone Masterclass introduction clip, which is very well produced. You might be able to guess that they're also a video production company from this.
Welcome to Drone Masterclass. We have developed specialist online courses to help you obtain your General Visual Line of Sight certificate, known as the GVC, or the A2 Certificate of Competence, known as the A2 CFC. Our interactive online learning system guides you through your learning experience, giving you access to our experienced tutors to help you successfully pass the course. We don't just give you some PDFs to learn from. Our course is interactive and uses a variety of methods to make sure it suits how you learn. So let us help you get flying your drone today. He looks like a nice chap, doesn't he?
He does. He looks like a very interesting guy. Yeah, absolutely. But no, it is an exciting thing, and obviously for anyone that's been watching the channel for a while, you'll know the chap that's in the corner there as well. Andrew McQuillan has helped us out with a lot of videos, and the relationship actually started from my inquiries regarding a police operation, actually, which was happening at a race course, which was looking to protect that race course from rogue drone flights and that type of thing. And it was actually turned out to be Andrew's company that was the company that was active with the public safety side of things there. And then we got chatting, made a few videos, that type of thing. And as you know, Andrew's become a regular on the channel. So, of course, when they decided...
about getting you drunk.
Yes. He also got me to drink on a live stream for the first time ever, which I think if you look at the slippery slope of Geeksvana, in a year's time, when I'm just a mad ball of something on air, you'll be able to just mark it back to when it started. And I would like to say, to his credit, Andrew Hamilton did tell me to run. The first time I met Andrew Hamilton, he said run.
But don't you see the correlation? But don't you see the correlation between the amount of new subscribers that you've had since that?
It seems to go down every time he's on the screen, though. It's a bit strange. I can't really work it out. Yes, absolutely.
If we did a pub stream once they opened, then I'm sure the viewers would go up.
Perfect.
Yes, indeed, exactly. Well, and that's part of the reason why this isn't just Geeksvana trying to sell a training school to you. This is once the Drone Masterclass became a thing, it became a very natural progression for us to partner with Drone Masterclass and recommend them, because obviously I've got to know the Andrews very, very well, and they really do know their stuff. Hence, Andrew McQuillan is the face you'll see in a lot of our drone regulation videos already, to help us simplify things and make things better. And this isn't just a There's an affiliate link in the description. Click there, because in fact the link in the description isn't an affiliate link. You know I hate those. This is more of a partnership from the point of view that we're going to be making lots of good content together. We're going to be doing some really exciting, fun stuff that a normal sponsorship, commercial type relationship just wouldn't normally bring. So I'm really, really excited about that. And my main focus on this partnership is producing even better content for you guys to watch. And of course, if you're in the UK and you need an A2 CFC or a GVC, please click the link in the description.
You get a free T-shirt.
Yes, I was about to say.
There's free merch.
The first 100 people,
cards.
The first 100 people will get a free T-shirt, and you'll get the actual printed ID card, which is pretty.
And
fantastic.
the website doesn't say this, but there's also free Haribo.
There's free Haribo.
Yeah, it was a small bag.
I might have to go. I'd just like to say I didn't get any Haribo.
Yeah. You haven't passed the course yet.
Well,
I haven't even got my aviation gin yet.
I know, right? It's crazy.
That's Finland's laws problem. That's not my problem.
Excellent. Well, I just wanted to do very quickly as well. Pull up the website. So I press that button and then this button.
If anyone can guess where that picture is, it's in behind as well. I'll probably give them a free A2 if they want it. Yeah. See if anyone's paying attention. Yeah. Nope. Yeah, obviously there's in-person dates there. We're going to be adding to that as well shortly, but we're trying to give weekdays and weekends because it suits different people to do different times. We literally covered the whole of the UK. As you can see there, Sheffield, Belfast, Plymouth. We've got other locations due to launch, but we're trying to make it as easy and accessible as possible. Yeah, we want to be competitive. We're not there to sort of profiteer from it. Really, it's a case of those prices are introductory prices, but we're trying to make it as cost effective as possible because online training, the in-person courses are slightly more expensive because there's additional costs with those. But online is cheaper than in person, therefore I think the price should be cheaper. But that is an introductory price. Yeah. I think we actually got really good feedback from the CAA on our student welfare side of things. So the key thing for me from a training background, this sort of coming from the non-drone part, is you have to, every student's different. Some students may have things like dyslexia and different things like that. You have to accommodate those. And so that's why you just can't have one way of doing it. So that's why you basically, at any point, you can email a dedicated email address, go straight to Andrew, and he'll answer that. If that means I have to phone him to get up to in the early hours of the morning, he'll do that. But there's an email address you can contact. We'll do Zooms and things. We're not being prescriptive, and we've also got sort of guaranteed access to exams at weekends because people do these at the weekends. So and instructors as well. So if you want to do an exam on a Saturday, you can do an exam on a Saturday. We're not 9 to 5 Monday to Friday just for exams. So and that's the key thing, and also as well to make people more confident with exams. We're not using an online system that automatically looks at you and checks you. It's one of our team working with you in the exam, so we can make sure you understand. If you've got questions, we can answer them and we can take you through it, because whenever I've done my online exams before with different proctoring services, it's if you're worried about the process, if you've done ticked the right box, then that'll affect your exam. You're going to be not as confident. So we're there. You see us. Yeah, it's personal. You'll see us, and if you want, if you need help, we'll give it to you.
Okay,
so essentially, we'll give you help with the administration side.
Yeah, indeed. So essentially, with an A2 CFC course, once you've signed up, you'll have access to the Student Learning Hub, which will have all the information in there. There'll be the videos of the wonderful Andrew Hamilton explaining all the different bits and pieces, and then you obviously have your exam, etc. But then you also get that optional free one-to-one video call with an instructor, which I think is superb. And then, of course, you are perhaps more ready to fly in the open category, and I think that's that is a good way of doing the online course from the point of view that you're still getting that one-to-one interaction, because there's always, everybody that I've spoken to that's done the online A2 courses, there is always at least one question, if not two or three, specific to their circumstances and their use that they want to ask. And often that's when the emails come into Geeksvana, which I'm more than happy to help answer. I often Andrew, what's the answer to this?
He's sending it to me.
So it goes along a little chain. So this way you get it straight from the horse's mouth. Not that I'm calling Mr. Hamilton a horse.
But that's really good. But I can confirm to all the listeners and all the viewers that Andrew Hamilton actually promptly replies to his emails.
Yeah.
He actually does. However, Andrew McQuillan.
If we just sign it Andrew, it's so much easier.
That's true. That is true. Now, I have a question. So, if I take my A2 here in Finland, and that covers me for Europe, does that also cover me for the UK?
Technically, no, because we're a third country. Because we're not part of the EU, we are a third country now.
Yes.
So I'm not sure if the CAA have still worked out how we're going to do that and how we're going to accept people from Europe. Obviously, you'll have to comply with the legislation here, which we would do anyway. But how you would actually come in here, I'm not sure yet.
Okay. So do I have to be a UK do I have to be a I have to be a UK resident?
No.
Okay, so if I'm a UK passport holder, or even if I was, let's say, a Finnish passport holder, and I would come to the UK and I would do the A2 with you guys, that would be okay?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
The only restrictions on that is the RAE's got to be based in the UK.
Yeah.
So the RAE couldn't go and deliver courses in Finland. The RAE is course in Finland. They've got to be based in the UK. So,
for example, if you're doing a GVC, your practical flight test has to be in UK airspace.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. No, I was just thinking that at some point, obviously when I'm coming back, I would do the exam. I would come and visit you guys. But if I were to do the online, how long would that be open for?
The online certificate would last for 5 years.
So are you asking, Stephen, if you were to take the course from outside the UK and then want to travel to the UK to take the flight test, how long that process can be? Is that what you're asking? Or
yes, is that for GVC then?
Yes.
So the GVC theory side of things takes 2 days essentially in an in-person basis. Obviously, the online takes as long as you take for it. We recommend you take at least 2 days to do that because the courses are timed and you have to go through certain things in the courses. So we don't want you just clicking through the videos and going through. It's not structured that way. But you can take it at your own pace, and then your flight test would have to be within the UK. But it's the same way with A2. You do have to have some flight time experience, and that should ideally really be in the UK airspace and logged as such, rather than another country's logged hours.
Yeah, because I think that's good to know, and I think that's really, really important for many people in the EU countries. So if they do come to the UK and they want to fly, they should come to you.
Yes, because the A2 CFC is built or is predicated on the building blocks, as they call it, which is the flyer ID and a minimum of flying, which the CAA sort of recommend 2 hours, which is the sort of what you would need for like a PFCO renewal. They reckon about 2 hours of flying, and you have to demonstrate to that or prove that to us before we can obviously issue any certificate.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
No,
That's good to know.
good.
That's good to know.
It is, and I'm we are very excited to be working with you guys in such a close way, and that sounds very strange, doesn't it? And we look forward to some of the exciting things that are coming up in a socially distant close way. Yes, exactly. Although hopefully at some point, it's going to start opening up, and we're going to start having a lot more fun shows, shall we say?
I'm sure the four of us will go on some grand tours at some point.
Exactly. Yes, we need to do that. Although I'm not sure we can call it Geeksvana's Grand Tour, but we could try. It might stay up for about a day. It might get some good views for a day. No, that's excellent. Okay, so as I was saying, the link is in the description. It's dronemasterclass.co.uk. You're going to be hearing lots more coming up on the channel in conjunction, in collaboration. They're not going to just be, or they're not going to be sort of salesy videos. They're going to be bringing you information. We've even got a series of short videos coming up, which will actually be the hashtag shorts, so less than 60 seconds, which will actually explain where you're going to be able to fly each of your aircraft in what type of airspaces and that type of thing, and answering viewer questions, which is very exciting. I'm looking forward to that. And yet hopefully we'll see a position where the EU and or EASA and the CAA can work together from the point of view of being able to use permissions or at least be able to access each other's airspace from a drone point of view. I think at one stage it looked very bleak, didn't it? And it even looks bleak even on manned aviation as well, actually. But the outlook seems to have improved a little bit, but there just doesn't, of course, with other priorities happening at the moment, there just doesn't seem to be much news coming in on it at the moment.
I think it's fair to say as well, the CAA will not be the only regulatory body we're going to be registered with for courses in the future. There will be other national airspace authorities we are currently on the process of going down the route of being able to train for. Excellent. So we want to become a bit of a one-stop shop to an extent, so that we can make sure give our experience and everything for multiple countries in Europe, across Europe, given the EASA rules.
Yeah, one of our moderators actually was asking about the FPV UK and the not requiring the A2 CFC in Article 16. Article 16 authorization is a fantastic authorization. I think actually a lot of people in the industry were a little bit shocked when they saw it happen, because I don't think a lot of us necessarily expected the CAA to provide that kind of blanket authorization. So it is fantastic. It is limited though, because it does have to be flights from an area which is recreational, basically. Yeah. So sports fields, that type of thing, and parks. And of course you've then got the other aspect of that the authorization actually does specifically state, which the drone code itself doesn't, that you need to know that you're allowed to fly on that land. So it's slightly different wording, which I think is slightly catchier. And it is very good. And the idea of it really was to keep the FPV UK hobby and the model aircraft flying hobby alive, because these people will just go down to their local parks, fly their scale helis for a few minutes, do test hovers, that type of thing, and then go home. So that was hence it's FPV UK, BMFA that are the ones that have got the permission for their members. But it also means that us drone flyers can use it. You just have to remember that you can't use automated modes. You can use return to home in an emergency situation, but you can't use tracking modes of any kind, or any kind of automated mode. So there are limitations to it, and there are benefits of the A2 over the Article 16, which I think will actually become much more outright once the C class label drones are in, because an A2 CFC with a C2 drone, you're going to be able to with the one-to-one rule in place, you're going to be able to get within 5 meters of uninvolved people. And that to me is fantastic. That's when the A2 CFC will really come to life. And we should start seeing at least the confirmation of all the labeling and everything else like that very, very soon. And then, of course, the manufacturers are going to jump on that, because they know there's going to be this big marketplace across Europe where people are going to want these drones. Yeah. So whether or not we see perhaps, the Air 2 C2 version being released or something like that with a few updates in there and that sort of thing, who knows? But the journey to labeling there's probably a couple of bumps in the road ahead of us still, isn't there, before we definitely get there. But yeah, so hopefully that answers you there, Airless Man. It's good to see you as well, by the way.
The advantages of the A1 and A2, sorry, Sean,
yes,
the advantages of the A1 and A2 are only going to come to the fore when these drones are released, these UK Mark class drones, whatever we're going to call them.
Exactly.
They're just fantastic. The sort of the restrictions they're going to have. Going down to 5 meters from people is going to be really good, really interesting.
No, yeah, it's going to be, it's really going to open it up, I think, a lot for small businesses as well. The businesses that have to outsource their sort of smaller drone bits and pieces, so estate agents and that type of thing. I think it's going to really help those kind of businesses where it's going to be much easier to have someone in-house trained with a simple A2 CFC and a little drone, which again is actually the way it happens in the US. Of course, most real estate agents have someone in-house that does all of their photos, etc. So it's fascinating. Lindsay Hayes is asking, does Drone Masterclass have face-to-face in the air module for brushing up practical flying skill techniques?
Yes.
Now, yes, and the problem is I never know whether Lindsay's being funny or not, because he is one of our regulars that does manage to bring a smile to my face with a lot of his comments. There's about 3 or 4 of them that are actually fantastic with their comments in our chat often. So yeah, I mean, as I say, we're looking forward to it. It is an exciting development, and yeah, I mean, we really hope that this will turn out successfully for you guys, which of course you will hope that as well.
Indeed. I mean, it's not, also from our perspective as well, it's not just about the CAA courses. We have a range of things launching next month, which basically are, again, come back to Andrew's point about what he heard from pilots. So we have things like a GDPR course, and these are all cheap, short courses. We're not trying to make money out of you. We're just trying to basically cover the cost of the course.
Yes.
And the key thing is it's bits that people are confused by. So surveillance and privacy and GDPR, that's something I hear a lot. Andrew's heard a lot. So we have a course on that because Cardiff Space Drones is the first and only at the moment surveillance commissioner certified company for drones. So we know about surveillance and privacy use of drones. So we were able to give that experience out. The same as congested areas, because that's historically, I think, even with the new regulations, obviously people are still worried about when they fly in congested areas.
Yeah.
So we have a very simple option. So it's not like other courses that have been in the market in the past, but basically there's a theory course that gives you better understanding and uses videos of our actual flights to show you how we do it and safely. But then also you have the option to come out with us in the congested area to see how we do it safely, and also for us to give you practical advice. So we're just trying to make, none of these are gimmicky. We're not trying to sell you subscription services or anything like that. It's purely, if you need that course, it's there. It'll be cheap. And you can then learn and then sort of fill that knowledge gap. So it's just about
there'll be the ability to come back and do almost like these little bolt-ons and things to help develop. Because in actual fact, we've just recorded one of our first videos with another company that we're partnering with, Moonrock Insurance Services, and I know Andrew, Simon Ritterband.
They are sure.
He's a great guy, and yeah, I mean that kind of thing is actually exactly the sort of thing which we were talking about, and there's a lot of nuances with the new regulations and everything, and there's a lot of crossover between insurance and regulation and everything else like that, and it's all these little extra qualifications that can actually help you out there, even if you are an A2 CFC holder looking to get work. Well, actually having a first aid certificate and a health and safety certificate will help you, because obviously when you're putting your quote into someone and they have a couple of A2 CFC holders, and one of them has those extra certificates, as a corporate client, they're going to be more attracted towards that, because of course they're ticking another box on their risk assessment internally, that having that person on site is slightly less risky, etc. So
especially things like construction, if you're wanting to use drones in construction, because you're drones in that environment there's other risks other than the drone that you're exposed to, and that's what as you say, that's what they expect from you.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Okay. Now, because you work everybody so hard at Crowded Space Drones and now Drone Masterclass, I think we're going to lose Andrew Hamilton now, aren't we? Because you have a ferry to catch.
Yeah, I got a ferry. Yeah.
So are you off back to the homeland, or are you leaving?
No, back to the motherland, back to GB.
Wonderful. Excellent. I thought I'd get that in there for the
hashtag Brexit.
Yeah, hashtag Brexit. Yeah. Good luck getting through customs.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us, and
Cheers,
we look
Cheers,
forward to having you on again soon.
Okay,
Cheers,
thanks
Andrew.
very much. Cheers.
Good luck with things.
Thank you.
Yeah, he has to leave early because his next hotel he's getting the Wi-Fi. Make sure it works.
Just to go check his emails.
Does he actually have to carry out Uber rides on the way to the ferry to pay for the Wi-Fi at the hotel to contribute towards it? Yeah, very good. Okay, well, yeah. So our next subject, what we've just been talking about there, actually brings us on to our next subject quite nicely. Looking at really anyone that's looking to work with drones, and of course, with the UK removing the need for a special commercial permission, we are in a new era now where people, technically even without an A2 CFC with just a Mini 2 could say, hey, I'm now a drone business, of course, with the right insurance and etc. etc. So really, with people with the A2 CFC and that type of thing, so they've got their Mini 2s, their Mavic Air 2s, etc. Those kinds of people are going to be looking to gain drone work for the first time, and of course, a lot of these people aren't going to be looking to be the next, I suppose, crowded space drones and flyby guys with their international contracts and everything else like that. But certainly picking up their first bits of work. Would you guys have any particular advice in terms of how people should go about trying to find and what kind of work they should look for?
Do we have enough time for this?
We do.
I could be here all night.
I'll just kick back and relax.
I'm one of. On you go first, Andrew. On you go first.
Well, I wonder. So there's one comment that sort of there's one phrase that I want to name check the person who actually. There's a drone pilot in the UK flies for, I think it's Dale's Surveying, called Simon Strickland.
Yes.
And we've had dinner a few times. One of the things he says is, I completely agree, and I've regurgitated it several times, is if you find a niche, do that, because there's more money in niches than they are in just being a drone pilot. So
yes.
He's in the surveying aspect. So that's what works.
I think one of the one of the main criticisms, and I see this, I see this every day. I see this on social media. I see it on LinkedIn. I see it in, when many people are trying to sell their services and they're trying to go down that we are a drone company, but they use the wrong words. They use words like photography.
Yes.
This is this is not the right way to go down. I think when you're using words like, because it's like anything. If you're selling your services, you have to be able to sell yourself. You have to, and as you said, Andrew, you have to find a niche. You have to find that niche. You have to find, something that, nobody else is doing.
Yes, indeed.
And as soon as you start using words like photography, you really start to sound like a glorified, let's say, wedding photographer in a sense, whereas, I think that with the drones, you need to be focusing on certain industries. And when you're focusing on industries, you're not focusing on photography. You can be focusing on images, but you'll be using the word images, and those images are converted into data.
Exactly.
So that's one of that's what I see as the biggest mistake, and people do this all the time. They even call their company name something photography. That's that's not the way to go about it, in a sense. I think that you really need to be focusing on, like you said, your niche. Focusing
absolutely,
on,
because again, it isn't about being another photography company. It's about being, a service. So actually approaching these companies and saying, okay, you need this job doing, which requires a drone and requires this qualification, etc. I can do that for you, and it's about having that service offering that's going to be attractive to people. Because I think one of the things I've has always been drummed into me by other people with successful drone businesses is that you have to niche, exactly as you're both saying, but also a drone business that is specifically a drone business isn't the easiest thing in the world to have, and actually it should complement something that you do. If you look at Crowded Space Drones, Andrew McQuillan's company, isn't just a drone business. Obviously, we talk about the drone side of things a lot because, of course, this is a drone insect channel. But those drones are used in the public safety side of things. They're used in the videography, the video production company, and that type of thing. And actually, it's having that. It's attempting to develop a wide range of services so that then, for instance, when you have a live festival, Andrew's able to offer the services across the board. There's so many different things that he's then able to offer. So
most of that is that's all I would sort of call organic growth.
Yes.
Because we started off from a counter perspective because of something else, and then basically it's about having the right team around you when you need it. So essentially, if you're going to be small, so that means potentially working with freelancers and things under your brand rather than sort of a combination, ideally. But first of all, I'd say the name doesn't have to, as Stephen says, the name is not overly important as much, and it may limit you by having, as Stephen says, a photography in it. So, and it's also very hard to find domain names that are left over now in terms of several. Yeah. So, Crowded Space was because of as Steve said, our public safety and that sort of side of things. We don't have photography or that. We've got drones in it, yes, but we're known for certain photography and video work we do, despite not having that in our name. So don't focus on the brand or the name too much. It will be about what you've done, rather than the name of the company. So don't focus too much on that. I was notorious for not being any way good with video or photography when we start off. Like, I could barely use an iPhone camera. In fact, when we started, I was almost still in a BlackBerry. But no. So I surrounded myself with the right people who I happen to know. And one person who started way back when is still here now. And I brought those skills in when I needed them. I didn't need them all the time because of our public safety bit. Didn't need them as much, but that's why we do stuff for like the Queen now, because our video bit is well known as very, very good quality. We do a lot of work with BBC,
and it's built and built and built, isn't it? And as people will know from our first interview with you, Andrew, back when we were back all those months ago, your first interaction with drones, etc., was actually on the set of Game of Thrones when you were working in the more on the security side of things.
No, I wasn't in the film bit. I wasn't in the video bit.
Yeah,
ironically, that's the I get into drones.
But then, as you say, that then introduced the issue of drones from a public safety point of view, and obviously securing things like privacy for television companies. And then, as you say, it's organically grown from there. And then actually, okay, we're doing crowd safety for these festivals. Why don't we do the videography while we're there? Why don't we do X, Y, Z?
Yeah, and I had the crowd safety piece already because I had a degree in crowd management, and I knew my interaction meant I knew that they would be useful.
Yes,
because of that background. So it wasn't like I just found that blank. I already had some pre-existing knowledge, and everyone has some pre-existing knowledge of some other thing. It could be because a family member is doing something or a friend. It doesn't have to be you personally doing something to find that niche. And I think you just need to remain flexible that you can follow those niches. So that's why don't using yourself as I'm going to do aerial photography and you end up being a video business. But
I mean, it's very easy for for anyone to pick up like a Phantom 4 or a Mavic 2 Pro where they have the 1-inch sensor and you can get some very, very good images, and then say, I'm a video production company. Everyone's doing that. So, that's when you lose the niche. That's when you don't be one of the crowd. Exactly. Yeah. And it's almost, if you can Google something and 50 companies come up, don't do that. Yeah, because they're already there, and of course this advice is coming from two guys who have built international businesses in and around drones, and of course both started from very small interactions with drones. Andrew's with his on set, and Stephen of course was a hobbyist when he first started interacting with drones. So it's also something I want to stress for anyone that's watching that wants to get into the commercial side of things in the UK and frankly worldwide, from the point of view that it can be done. You can build a business, and
there are a lot of people out there that will tell you, oh, you can't do this, and oh, hobbyist this and hobbyist that, and A2CFC is not enough of a qualification, blah 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 blah. Well, actually, you know, you can, because it will become building blocks, and I'm finding that in my own creative life as well, that the building blocks are happening for me with the A2CFC, then going on to do the GVC, and then that's going to open up other options for me, etc. So you just have to
that's
be
why a
open
lot
to
of
that.
people are scared. A lot of existing companies are scared of the new regulations because
Yes.
it will be easier to do that. On the money side, sort of three things to mention. First of all, some people are, not us, but some people will try and sell you drone courses based on, oh, look at this PricewaterhouseCoopers report, you can earn £65,000.
Yes.
Yeah, that's rubbish.
Yes,
That's
you can,
absolutely-
but not in year 1 to 5 probably. But also, most of the people who are doing that are working for Amazon, working for other companies that are pre-existing drone programs. So those higher salaries are typically aside those. So don't start the drone company thinking that if you want, you may want to go into drones to get to that point, that salary or whatever.
Yes.
That's fine,
Absolutely.
but don't be pegged as it has to be my company. You could be working for people like Amazon, who've got lots of drone staff, various different companies that out there. So there's ways to get to high salaries, but it's maybe not by yourself.
Exactly. And it is trying to build on things as well. For instance, I had an email conversation back and forth with a chap who works on building sites, and he does something. He isn't a builder. He does something that he has to go to each site and check on certain things, etc., and checklists for the owners. It's a decently successful business, which is a niche in itself. And he's simply actually added on an A2CFC, a small drone, and now he's able to take progress photographs from the air for each of those sites as well. So when he's on those sites each week, so suddenly he's literally doubled his earnings for something he's already doing. And that's where, when I look at, and with all of the people in the industry that I've interviewed and spoken to on the professional side of things, that's where I have seen real success from the point of view of people adding things on to what they already do, and being there for another reason. It isn't just to sell the drone as such. It's actually, oh, by the way, did you know we could also do this for you? And of course, some of those building sites that this chap's working with had no thought of doing that before. So he's created a niche and a market for himself.
Yeah, and I think that, one other aspect which people don't seem to realize is that there is software out there. There are companies that are building software that you can push the images, that you can push the video files through, and that will create the data for you. Now, a lot of people don't, they have no clue. So they don't have the ability to do the networking. They don't have the ability to do the research and go out there and find this stuff. There's a lot of it out there. There is a lot of software development companies who are creating extremely good, pieces of software that can actually deliver very, very good data. And that, that's your niche. That's what you want. If you live in a town where you have a company or you have an industry where, and you see this piece of software, and you go, okay, this is what I can do. I know one company here in Finland where the guy specializes in the oil refineries. So he does a lot of the oil refinery work. So he's flying constantly in no-fly zones all the time, and that's his niche. That's what he does. That's,
literal critical infrastructure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We're overlooking the sort of non-commercial side as well, where you may want a job with drones, but it could be the emergency services. So there's lots. The thing is, there's lots of ways to get drone jobs now. Absolutely. If you want just to use drones to help people, then yes, you can't maybe go in some of those emergency services. You can't go direct as a drone pilot. Police, you have to be a probationer, etc., before you can get considered. For the most part, but some allow you to be special constables for those and things like that. So it's drones are a way more commonplace. Every year they talk about, oh, this is the year of the drone and all this. But it just gets, every year they say that, and every year gets more things you can do.
I think we've had this conversation 15 times.
Yeah.
However, one thing which I'm not too happy about, and that's a good point, Andrew, is that anyone can pick up a drone. Anyone can go to some small business and say, I'll do your roof inspection. I'll photograph your house. However, not understanding the business side and not understanding how to price that can have a lasting damage towards us.
Exactly.
And this is where I have my grievance with people who will just go and do something for, say half an hour, and will take money just to go and get a 6-pack or something, and not to, because it's not their job. This is their part-time. It's like they do it as a hobby. That's fine, but you're doing more damage to companies like us, because many large companies who know that someone's going to go and pay that kind of money, and then when we come along and say, okay, we'll do it, but it's going to cost this, and they go, a minute, that guy down the road there done it for 25 quid. Why are you charging that? It's not about flying. It's not about taking a photograph. It's actually understanding business. It's knowing how to price yourself. Exactly. Because this is a very small industry right now. This is really small, and we haven't started. As Andrew said, every year they say this is going to be year of the drone. This is going to be year, because we're still waiting for that. Now, there's only a handful of, let's say, well-respected companies out there who are doing the jobs that we are doing. So that means that if you have someone doing quite a big job, let's say they're going to do, let's say a roof inspection or something, and they charge 100 quid. Okay, that's fine. It's their weekend work. That can really affect us in the future, and that's what I don't like. I'm very off about that. So I'm very vocal.
When on a similar vein, when I joined drones in 2016 for the main join, if you like, for market for selling business services, the UK was quite frankly an element of a bad place in terms of attitude, not towards drones, but actually there was a core network. Back then there wasn't that many. I mean, I think we're 2000 something, and that was sort of, and they've been going for quite a few years. So there haven't been that many. There's now like 11,000, in terms of the CAA license numbers, or plus probably now. And back then there was very much, when you came into an old boys network, which, was you're not a good drone pilot unless you've been here since day one. You're not a good drone pilot unless you're doing TV work, and that still remains to an extent, a little bit. But it's massively reduced because there's competent people out there doing things. And I think there's this sort of, that's why we stepped away from some trade associations and different things, because there was this whole negativity attached to, and quite frankly, it was borderline controlling the market to ensure people got the amount of work they wanted.
Yes.
And I think that was
absolutely
partly the regulations, also the drone technology at the time. That's Phantom 3, sort of end of Phantom 3, Phantom 2 era. And that was, people could control the market. And it was very manipulative, and people were very anti anything new that would open the market up, because they wanted that work, and they tried.
And we definitely saw that again, didn't we, with the PIFCO going, etc., and which is why I was stressing that
PFAW as it was back then.
Yes, yeah, indeed, yeah, and which is why I was stressing about how both of you guys started your businesses from the point of view that we're not talking about some aviation business miraculously appearing overnight. It is hard work finding those niche points and then building it organically, which really is the best possible advice.
I don't like to use points about like entrepreneurs like Elon Musk or anyone, but I like to be a bit of a disruptor. I don't like to sort of comply with the status quo, and I see parts of that with Stephen as well and what he does. So absolutely, the key thing is, every industry has its own, way of doing things, but that doesn't mean it's the right way. And I think that you have to push boundaries of the drone world, because it's a new thing and you're having to get people to adopt it in the first place. So I think that, as Stephen went back to earlier about, being competent in the service, yes, at the start, we were pricing things for free or next to nothing just to get volume of work, to get a sort of database of clients. And everyone thinks about database of having photographs and stuff like that. It's not. It's actually a database of clients for references.
People that will pick the phone up to you.
You don't get government work without references.
Absolutely.
So, and they don't care if it's Mrs. Miggins and you did a roof survey for free. All they see is Mrs. Miggins roof survey. In the same way they'll see as company ABC blogs roof survey. They don't differentiate that much as long as it's a good reference. They don't go, I don't like that reference. They'll just say it's a good reference or not. So it's a bit different.
But that's different from your point of view, because that's something that a company starting out, you have to get the references. And you are a company, and you will say to them, okay, we'll do this first one for free, but the next one will be but you have to sign the contract to say that we'll do the next bit, but we'll do this one for free. So there has to be terms and conditions about that. It's not like just doing something walking away.
I mean, most of those people who we did stuff for free, we walked away from because they would expect it free again. You don't like go to your biggest possible. Like when we started working for Live Nation, I didn't say Live Nation, here's everything for free, because they're never going to want to pay, and they're Live Nation, you'll want them. So you have to treat that as disposable income in terms of clients, but it's do that to get some background. You don't need to have lots of nice photos. Really, it's about the output of the survey or things like that. It's about who the client is, because you just need references.
Exactly. No, that's a really good point. And as Stephen was saying earlier, and it's a word that he uses a lot and uses a lot in this discussion, is data. So don't just look at your at what you're capturing as video or photos. There is data there, and in actual fact, data collection and can actually be a much more powerful business tool than just being a photographer or videographer type thing. It is a huge marketplace, huge.
Well, I mean, if you have a house, do a 3D model of your house, because it doesn't matter to a client that it's your house. It's a 3D model. It's either a 3D model or it's not.
Yes.
And if you can do a 3D model of your house, then they know you can do a 3D model.
Yeah, no, indeed, I completely agree. Excellent. Okay, and we'll move on to the next bit, which is the exciting FPV drone. But for anybody that's rewatching this, we've also got, as I say, we're just starting a new partnership with an insurance company. We've got an interview and a couple of videos coming up with them, which will also explain the insurance world, because that's a conversation and a question which has come up many times with Geeksvana viewers, as far as what level of insurance you need, how it works, how to insure your ground stations, that type of thing, your equipment on the ground, and everything else. And in a series of excellent videos with Moonrock Insurance Services, we've got that coming up, which includes an interview with the CEO himself, really taking apart the UK in terms of drone insurance, everywhere from the hobbyist all the way through to these beyond visual line of sight missions being flown for the NHS at the moment. So it's a fascinating watch. So that'll be coming up soon. So if you are new to Geeksvana, please hit that subscribe button. Right, should we talk about the FPV drone now? The FPV drone, as in the DJI FPV drone. I apologise for our FPV audience. I've just called it the FPV drone, as if there's no other kind. Oh, look,
I feel a bit left out. I feel a bit left out here, because I've just said to the viewers that they've been sending pictures for the past 24 hours of their drones and their boxes, and I don't have one yet.
Yes,
you don't have any Jen. You don't have an FPV drone.
But lucky,
you've got a nice fern. I mean, your fern's better than my fern.
Yeah, your fern is you do have good fern games, Stephen. Yeah. So, okay, there are a lot of videos out there, both positive and negative. One of the funnier ones, which is also a reminder about Ken Heron's show, which is on this evening, is actually from Ken Heron, and I just wanted to very quickly play a clip out from his recent video. So yes, enjoy.
The DJI FPV quad is a piece of shit.
Hey, you. Oh, hi there. My owner wasted $1,300 on me. Mine too. Well, since we're not very good at flying, how about if we... Really? Right here in front of everyone? Yeah. Okay. Well, I can appreciate the symbolism. Yeah. At least this way DJI is f***ing itself instead of its customers.
Man, I can't tell you how excited I was that this was coming out. DJI was putting their might behind a FPV quad. I was counting the days, saving my money just like you. I didn't get this for free from DJI. I spent hard-earned money on it. DJI didn't build a tool, an FPV cinematic tool. They built a toy. You can get more out of a finely tuned, hand-built FPV quad. This is not that. Don't waste your money on this, please. I know I'm risking a lot. I'm risking my own money, because if I said it was awesome, you guys would be like, yeah, I'm going to use Ken's affiliate link and buy this, and then I would make a little bit of money, and that would be cool. But what's cooler is being honest with you about something that you will get and you will be disappointed. If you know somebody with one of these, fly theirs first. But don't waste your money like I did. Before I even flew it, I bought DJI Care and Refresh. That's another $200 gone. Me and my buddy Adam, who also bought one, filmed in 2 different locations. The video did not record at the first location. On mine. On his, it did.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a good video. I watched it. I actually watched it this evening, actually.
Yeah, it was certainly a passionate response, wasn't it? Just very quickly, thanks to El Smeghead for the £5 super chat. Really appreciate it, sir. He says, great information tonight, guys. Here's a super chat for you, Sean. # not for charity. Well, that's very kind of you. Thank you. Although it did kind of give me the idea. I have the starter of an idea of a 24-hour live charity stream, which of course Ken Heron did, and I did feature heavily on his. I stayed up for the entire 24 hours with him, and I was on there about 3 or 4 times. Can I put you guys on the spot? Would you be up for helping out for a shift with the
if it could be unofficially sponsored by Aviation Gin? Yes.
Oh, it will be. It will have to be. Frankly, it will have to be.
I think that should be one where we're in a studio together, at least some of us anyway.
Yes. Yeah, but potentially, but I might be doing it sooner than that, because obviously lockdown presents you with certain amounts of freedom time-wise that you don't normally get. But yeah, so Ken Heron, who is a certified absolute, anyone that watches his channel knows he is a bolt-on DJI fan. Everyone's waiting for me to drop this, aren't they? Because I keep going woo woo. So I'm going to put it down. So it's very interesting to get his opinion, and actually, despite the fact he has 130 something thousand subscribers, it's one of the reasons why I think he doesn't get drones and things sent to him by the main manufacturers, because frankly he's very, very honest about his opinions, and he's of course just gone through the journey of going from being a camera drone flyer to now flying FPV, perhaps even more than his camera drone stuff, because he finds it exciting. But it's some interesting feedback, and there's been a couple of others that have thought the same. In actual fact, on this evening's show on Thursday Night Live with Ken Heron, it's actually going to be his ex-wife Danielle's back in the co-host chair this time. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? And he has guests Billy Carl and Ken Donan on to talk about the DJI FPV drone. If you've seen Billy and Ken's videos recently, you'll know that they have perhaps potentially differing views on that. So it's going to be very interesting to see. So it's 7 p.m. Central US, and that is 1 a.m. here in the UK. If you do make it, you will find me in the live chat saying hi to everybody. So come along and say hi to me. But I'm excited. Have you flown yours yet, Andrew?
I've never turned it on yet. It only arrived today. It was late. It was annoying. So,
you got it, but you got it this afternoon or this morning. It came, didn't it?
This afternoon.
I got mine yesterday, and I haven't flown it yet.
But you've been busy, Sean.
Well, yeah, I suppose
you have been.
Well, you're saying Andrew hasn't. He's only running about 12 businesses. But yeah,
no.
I will stick up for him.
But I actually had this idea. I had this idea. If I get one, if we could do a similar, if we could do a live cast of all our, let's say kind of an international feed of flying at the same time.
Yeah, good idea.
That would be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that would be very good.
The one thing I would say is, out of the 3 of us, one of us has experience in getting a computer to accurately control lots of drones at speed, and it's not me. So
is it me?
I think it's me. A fair competitive advantage.
Is that me?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't. It can't mean Stephen.
I think it's about Andrew, who's just left.
It must be. Yeah. It must be the other Andrew. Absolutely. I mean, everyone in the chat, would you put a 1 in the chat if you have bought or are about to buy the DJI FPV drone, a 2 in the chat if you're on the fence, and a 3 in the chat, or a 0 perhaps if you're absolutely not interested. And yes, Johnny DRC is saying Sean has turned his on and off 1,000 times. I'd say at least 1,000 times actually. I like it on the ground with the vibrations and everything when you turn it on with the vibrations. So
what about if we could put a number 4 for you? Turned it on, flown it, and crashed it.
Yes, put on number 4 if you've already crashed your DJI FPV drone. That's a good one, actually. Lots of zeros coming out there, actually, which is interesting. And that's actually one of the reasons why Lindsay Hayes put 4. And that's actually one of the reasons why I actually got one, from the point of view that I am going to do the whole sort of camera drone flyer. Can I get anything out of this drone? Can I add to my footage and that type of thing, which I thought would be a fun series of videos. Now, if I crash it in the first video, it might not be particularly long. Anybody who watched Coast to Coast live stream last night, where I was chatting with Billy Kyle about the drone, he was actually, and I know you've watched it, Stephen, and you probably saw that he was edging me towards manual flight mode quite quickly, wasn't he? Sort of. I did say actually one of the first titles of my videos with the drone might be Billy Kyle crashed my drone, because going on his advice. But I didn't actually know. Yeah, exactly. I didn't actually know that there's between sport and manual there is a middle ground, which is the manual with attitude hold. Or attitude mode. So I'm quite interested in that, which is probably quite scary for my insurance company if they're listening. But yeah, I'm
but you have
quite
insurance.
interested in that. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, well, there you go.
And I was actually quite surprised to find that even the commercial side of my insurance just accepted the drone in as an FPV drone without saying, "Hey, can you fly FPV drones?" They're just like happy to add it to the policy, and that was it. I was quite surprised.
But is that something that your
Lamborghini
car
don't
insurance does? Your car insurance never asks you, "Can you drive?"
Yeah, good point. Good point. Yeah. Although well, technically yes, because I would argue that camera drones and FPV drones are like cars and motorbikes. So technically, your insurance company would want you to be licensed for the different operations. But
I just can't wait for the comments tomorrow after that comment you've just said there. The comments tomorrow will be lively.
Are you going to compare DJI drones that he make of vehicle now, or
okay, so DJI camera drones are
hard, so
I don't know. I mean, I suppose that I would put the difference. I've got a 4-door saloon car, which I would say that is, it's very fast. It's got flappy paddles. It's got 2 turbos on it and everything else like that, but it's still a big 4-door car. So there's as much as I can get into those corners, it isn't quite there. So I'd say that's probably like a DJI camera drone. And then FPV, my other half has got the little sporty BMW coupe BMW thing, and that's that little bit more sporty, a little bit more agile, etc. Sorry?
Tesla Roadster for the FPV.
Yeah.
So I heard lots of people crash those.
Yeah. Indeed. So I would possibly say that that's the difference. So keep an eye on Geeksvana for some good DJI FPV videos coming up. They'll, as I say, it will either be quite a long series of me learning how to use the thing and bringing you along in that journey with me, especially the audience that are similar to me, sort of camera drone flyers in the UK. But it might also be a very short series if I crash the drone on the first outcome, because the collision avoidance sensors don't stop the drone in sport mode. I found out today. It's only in the basic mode that they will actually stop the drone. So that's interesting.
I'm risk adverse to this in the first place because I've been safety officer for Drone Racing League for different things.
Of course.
So I've seen what their drones could do whenever they don't make it around the corner, etc. So I'm probably coming into this knowing what the potential outcome can be, therefore a lot more risk adverse. So I'll be probably in safety mode for quite a while.
Yeah, and it's an interesting drone because as Welsh Lab was saying, too overpriced and nowhere to fly in 2022, and that is a good point. Without this having the C rating, the time between then and now is starting to diminish, and I'm not sure if I didn't have a YouTube channel to be able to make videos with it etc., whether I would have jumped on board quite so quickly, frankly. But one thing I would add is that obviously the drone itself, when you look at the price and then you break it all down, things like the V2 goggles are obviously pretty expensive, and the battery to it and that type of thing, and the controller, the radio. I have a feeling there's going to be other updates to this drone because they've already released the drone individually as well now. I think there's going to be lots of updates for that drone coming, and you're going to be able to buy the updated drone alone and integrate it into your existing system essentially, that might do different things and that type of thing. So I have a feeling we're starting to see almost like the Mini 2, and then there's going to be Mini 3 this year, etc. We might start to see that with this FPV drone as well, incremental updates.
Yeah, so they can just drop it and go in a completely different direction at any moment's notice.
Yes.
They were heavily promoting enterprise products, and then this drops, and the other product lines, not suffer, but we were expecting other things. I think it's fair to say, and which they haven't materialized. So it's very much it's not a company you can predict too far ahead, I think.
No, exactly, and there's so many political, financial, and global pressures. Things like obviously, the US no longer becoming a bit of a grey market for them on the commercial side of things, which of course used to be a huge marketplace for them, and perhaps the reason why we haven't seen an Inspire 3 already. But yes, one good point that the Best Prank 69, great name by the way, is saying in the chat, obviously about being careful with this drone, especially in manual at full speed. This is something which could cause a significant amount of damage to a person or vehicle or property, frankly. So yes, absolutely, there needs to be a good amount of responsibility about where you fly it. And
I've already had one phone call with an NFL stadium today about drone problems, where we mentioned this because they've got big parking lots and big circular structures that would be good to race around.
Yes.
And it did come up on our call that this could see a rise. I think you'll instinctively want maybe a little bit more space for this.
Oh, absolutely.
Because of the nature of it. So I do think some of our customers are already thinking about this from a problem point of view. And just they're not trying to crack down on that, but they're just trying to make sure it's safe.
Absolutely, exactly, which is very, very important.
But it will be interesting to find out from the FPV community how much that this would have an effect on their reputation, for example. So as we were talking about there earlier about, let's say, welcoming in to the community, just how much this would have an effect on the FPV community. Are they really going to welcome this?
Yeah, I think so far the feedback I'm getting is that I've spoken to a couple of people that I know that I would say are hardcore FPVers and who have got it for very specific reasons. Actually, one of them was talking about it from the point of view that it has a return to home function, which and that kind of tech was interesting to him, but otherwise it's been very mixed. And I don't really think the FPV community should or do see this as an FPV drone. I think almost the title FPV is almost a little bit misleading, isn't it? Because it's it's a fast camera drone really, that's able to do some stunts.
Esports is a massive thing. I mean, DRL got picked up by ESPN, etc.
Yeah.
This could be DJI looking to go down the esports route and create
it could be
that area that they can sell consumer drones to separately. So
exactly.
Exactly.
And
a pioneer area like that.
Yeah.
This is their niche. Again, it's their niche.
Exactly. And you could even see a racing style drone that comes out that you buy separately that comes into the ecosystem, etc., that you can fly as well.
Especially the LED strips in this, they can obviously change color. So obviously with DRL, they've got a lot of. I've actually got one hanging above my head, a proper FPV drone. But no, they've got lots of LEDs all over them to allow you to see different colors, so you know who's there for make it a spectator sport. So this could be the future version of this could be heavily more LED to allow you to see the different colors and then race them.
Yeah, and two commenters in the chat there, Johnny DRC saying that 80 miles per hour is actually slow compared to his quads, and of course because they can build one for $400 as well, of course. And Justin Anderson makes a good point as far as perception is concerned, that it's an FPV drone, but not a freestyle or race drone like most people think of when they think of FPV. And he's very right from that point of view. This isn't something that's going to be 3D twitching in the sky. This is this, as Andrew was saying before, this needs a lot of space. And in actual fact, XChat kind of almost described it as well, more of almost like a fixed wing in the way that it manages to acquire its fairly decent flight time for the size of aircraft, being FPV. And yeah, I can see that, but obviously with that style of sort of fixed wing flight, it isn't a jerky stop. It is more of a gentle bank and being able to do those kinds of stunts. So and it's going to be interesting.
So we've already got contracts in place. Actually, we've got an FPV pilot with us, and we were going to go into FPV this summer anyway for certain contracts. And every single one we're pre-planning, which are all for post-lockdown anyway. They're like music festivals and stadiums and venues. They're all have curves, so you can exaggerate the move and make it look good, and combine that with fireworks and pyrotechnics, so it'll look really good. But it's this sort of drone is not for the race around that as fast as you can. No, for us, it's to get that cinematic go view.
Exactly.
We're not just going to stick to the DJI. We're going to test the DJI and see how that performs, and that footage will be publicly available. But
excellent.
At the same time, we're going to use more traditional with cameras, bolted on essentially, and it won't be necessarily just DJI Osmo action cameras. It'll be GoPro as well, because that's a sort of traditional for FPV community to an extent. But that's what we're trying to get. We're trying to get cinematic shots around music festival stages, when pyrotechnics go off, when streamers go off, when headliners are on. We're trying to get stadium shots of certain stadiums in the UK, which we're contracted for. So it's things like that we're looking for with this. We're not looking for this to fly around trees quickly. It's not what we're looking for.
Well, one question that Mike Drennan, or one point that Mike Drennan is talking about as well, is obviously the fact that, and in a lot of people's videos, the props have been in the video, which I agree is a bit frustrating. But in actual fact, once you do go into, which I suppose would be the argument, once you're into the full manual mode and you've got the thing sitting at much more of an aggressive attitude, and therefore the gimbal pointing up, it does then manage to come away from the props. But yeah, I do agree with you. The props, and Snakehead said the same thing about that he would do his head in. And you know, you could, as Akirasho saying, crop the props out in post, but it's certainly something that us camera drone flyers aren't used to having to deal with, frankly. So I'm being very careful with it.
Yeah, the Phantom 4 does that, doesn't it?
Yes, that's right.
The top heavy sort of, or you stuff on top of the camera. But,
yes, perhaps Mavic flyers are a bit spoilt with the no prop thing.
Yes, they are. Or sorry, we are. But certainly the Phantoms you do, and also Matrice as well. I think you get it with the Matrice.
Even if you're trying to put like a 360 panel in an Inspire 2, you're going to get prop wash in it.
Yeah, indeed.
So they're not looking fully up.
Did you get the DJI thermometer?
No, because I would like to avoid. I mean, if you're going to crash it, I would say statistically speaking, you're going to be using that the majority of times. You will crash them. But
you think?
I don't know.
It only works. It only works in the normal mode.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it doesn't work in sports mode or anything. So it only does the 30-mile-an-hour mode.
I was
quite impressed with it.
You wouldn't be there. The controller fine, but not for that.
I'm excited about using this. Actually, I have to say, and I like the fact that it's got a brake button, and of course there's the big red. As Billy Carl calls it, the "oh shit" button, to be able to save you as well. Which of course there is one on the controller. But no, I'm interested in this. This does interesting. The literature DJI talk about this from the point of view of being a gateway into FPV and making it easier, which I find interesting because you're using a controller completely different to any other FPV controller that you'd use. So I'm not sure how that can be classed as a gateway, almost like a gateway drug.
Was it the Wizard's Wand or something? Was the name of the unique thing for one of the Typhoons? There was like a one thing for one of those for like if it was able to follow you and things.
Yes,
I tried that once and it was terrible. I didn't use it.
That's right.
That's right. Why I'm not interested.
Yeah. I have to say it feels very solid. I kind of only got it in actual fact because the dealer that delivered it, they had them in stock, frankly, and a lot of other like Amazons and things like that didn't seem to have them. So I thought, it's a decent add-on that I think people would be interested in the channel and things. So.
But clearly, this is something. Obviously, the controller looks like an Xbox controller.
Yes,
and that looks like a Wii controller. So we can that has to be an insight into their thoughts of who they're targeting this for.
Indeed. Right, just for the people, a couple of people in the chat have asked if I'm getting withdrawal symptoms from turning it on. So yes, I am. So here we go. I'm sure I'm going to get an email at some point from DJI support saying, "Could you please stop turning it off and on? Your drone has sent us a message that it is very upset and it's in danger."
Just you do know there's like a battery cycle limit for them.
Yes, I do.
Sean has before Sean even flies it, he's got 30 cycles in the battery.
Well, that would certainly explain Ken Heron's battery error that he had in the video. Maybe he's been doing the same thing. Perhaps.
Yeah, me and Ken sit there on the phone open, just listen to this. Well, listen to this. But anyway, that's enough about that strangeness. Okay, so that's it on the DJI FPV drone for this evening's show. I want to talk a little bit about this man next. This man here. Look how white I am compared to you coming back from Dubai.
Yeah, I know. My tan is still
sun.
there.
Lift your sleeves. Have you got like an Irish tan like I have?
Not bad.
A little bit.
Yeah, not bad.
Slightly.
But you also have got the sexy lighting down now, haven't you, in the home studio? So
you can see it there. Yeah, I do. I have the sexy lighting now.
yeah.
So.
You almost kind of have that sort of look of someone that sort of works for a security service of some kind. It's cool. But yeah, so the flyby guys, there's a link in the description.
Andrew,
there's a link in the description. Man. Sorry, everyone, that was a little bit of a private joke there, but there's a link in the description to the Flyby Guys YouTube channel. It's a fascinating channel, and it's that channel, and in fact, Stephen's video of how to take photos of lightning that actually got us together. And it was when I watched that and invited him on as a guest, etc. And then I kept hold of him, frankly, and we now keep him in a cupboard until he comes out every fortnight to come co-host this show. But yes, it's a fascinating channel because he is a professional drone pilot. He does run a drone business, and so those videos always have that kind of extra element to them from the point of view of breaking things down and the opinions which he offers. I want to show a clip from his most recent video, which is actually where he's comparing the 3.2s. Yeah, it's some great footage on it. This is going to show you the footage which he captured with each of them. I'd suggest you go over to the channel, again, link in the description, to watch the full video where Stephen gives a bit more of a breakdown. But enjoy.
In today's video, we're talking about the 2s. The Mavic Air 2, the Mavic 2 Pro, and the Mini 2. Cue the music.
And Andrew just said as we were coming back there, it's almost like you're a professional.
Right.
So, which one, if you didn't own any of those and you were a hobbyist pilot that just wants to get some good footage, which of the 2s, forgetting about the price for a moment, which of the 2s would you say is the best from the point of view of getting it deployed quickly and getting the best kind of footage?
I've seen a Mini 2.
Yeah. Excellent.
I was genuinely impressed, actually, putting all that stuff together, and the Mini 2 really looked very good. It was strange to put Mavic 2 Pro up, because I put the Mavic 2 Pro up first, and it was noisy because I've been using the Mini 2 a lot, just just out of convenience. And the Mavic 2 Pro was really noisy. And then the Mini 2 went up.
I've noticed that. Yeah. I've noticed going from the Mini 2 even to the Air 2 that you unfold the Air 2 and now it feels like a big drone.
It does.
I mean, you know, I know with the Mavic 2 Pro there is that added thing of this thing is just a rock in the sky, as in, you know, it takes so much to move the thing. And I know some people, especially once you start to move, I did say hobbyists, so once you start to move onto the enterprise side of things, that Mavic 2 Pro does give you that, you know, the ultra reliability from the point of view of it is just solid there. But at the moment in the UK, with the UK regulations for sub 250, the Mini 2 is just, you know, an absolutely superb aircraft. Frankly.
I you know, just, you know, obviously I bought it when I was in Dubai for the only, you know, I mean,
stop showing off.
The only purpose was to see how cool I looked when I was there, which of course I did succeed. But I have to say, I'm really swayed by it. It's one of those ones you can just throw in the bag, and I think that the USB-C charging in the bag as well is just. You know, I've said this before, you know, so it's excellent value. It's excellent value for money.
The one I'm recommending, because of the the C-class drones, and as we discussed earlier, the one that some people have asked me, what drone should I get for now to do some element of flying and commercial work and get a GVC and things like that. I've just said, well, unless you're looking, you know, Mini 2, unless you're looking to do lots with it, is probably the best bet for now because it's more affordable. And that, you know, but in the mindset of having to change in worst case 2023 to a certified drone in a class drone.
Yes.
I think that, you know, the Mini 2, I think, is the best gap filler for now.
Absolutely. No,
unless you're going to
completely agree.
A specific, you know, drone.
Yes, exactly. No, I completely agree with you, and it's interesting. Akirasho just said that the Mini actually qualifies as a gateway drug. And I do agree with you, actually, because it was really clever marketing from the point of view that it's pulled in a much wider audience. And I think it's almost de-niched drones a little bit from the point of view that the kinds of people that you see that own the Mini 2 aren't necessarily people that you would call drone flyers. So it's very interesting.
No, but one thing which I do like about it is it's one of those drones you can just, I mean, literally throw in your bag. The fact that it's well encased. And the props are not going to get broken because it has that thing around
that's
it.
Right. That's right.
It's literally, you can just throw it in the bag, and that's it. And the batteries are quite well encased in the little. Yeah,
no, it is exactly. It is, and that even the little standard bag you get with it, it is just this nice little package of a 4K drone, which is absolutely superb. Weaving in the Box is asking how long the Mini 2 will be a legacy. In actual fact, the sub 250 gram drones will be able to fly indefinitely at the moment. That is what is in the CAP 722. It does say indefinitely. So sub 250 is actually a category all of its own, really. Again, it was one of the points which was quite surprising to people. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. And that's the other thing I say about the Article 16, that it's great, but remember it's only for a year at the moment. So it'll be interesting that once the C labelling comes in and everything, whether that has to change a little bit and other things.
Everything there. I mean, there's nothing to stop them changing things.
Yeah, exactly. So it says indefinitely at the moment, but, you know, I would always, again, that changed 3 or 4 times whilst the 722 was being formulated, etc. So of course, regulation, especially regulation that's chasing technology. Drones is technology, and UAVs are changing all the time. So regulation has to keep catching up with that, frankly, and, you know, more and more operational uses for them.
Give an example of that. So we're on the crowded space drone side. We are dealing with a paragraph CAP 722C. That was a new paragraph. It said new things would happen in a certain area of 722C. We went with our clients, went to them and said, right, let's do that. The CAA have come back, said, I'm not really going to do that anymore. Might change that. So, you know, and that was
things change, exactly.
So,
exactly. Good. Okay. Well, thank you very much, guys, for joining us this evening. Andrew, thank you for joining us. And everyone, go down and visit Drone Masterclass, link in the description. And I'll also pop it in the chat again now as well. Remember, the first 100 signups are going to get that T-shirt and the printed card. You'll be able to be one of the cool dudes that has a drone masterclass T-shirt, and of course,
quality as well. Took us a lot.
Indeed, indeed, and of course, remember that there is going to be in-person options for some of the courses, and the one highlight I would say on the A2 CFC is having that free one-on-one instructor time as well, which is I would say is going to be a big differentiator, and yeah, so it was very interesting. And Stephen, good luck with your endeavours, sir, wherever they may be, and on behalf of which security service they might be. Casting with all sorts of brushes when you're just a hardworking Brit. That's.
I'm just waiting for some sort of hand to come off screen, just grab him off screen.
Yeah. So okay, his cover's blown.
Yeah.
Right.
Or it could be you, Sean. I mean, Stephen's not the one blowing his cover.
All these viewers out there probably really confused. I get abuse from these two day in, day out. Day in, day out.
The international man of mystery who travels lots of countries all the time. That's it. Yeah.
We might have to do like a Christmas video or something where we show the contents of the Geeksvana crowded space drones.
Even just the group header,
group chat.
Header photo would be enough.
Yeah, indeed.
But actually, but actually, the group's a great name. It's actually called. I named it. What was it? I named it.
Oh yes,
Geek Space Guys.
Geek Space Guys. Yes.
Geek Space Guys.
Yeah. That's very good. Do you know what? I panicked then when you said, "What did you call it?"
Boy band ever.
And we would be the worst boy band ever, indeed. I kind of panicked when you said that. I thought, what did we call it? What did he call it? Because I remember what the logo is and everything else like that. So yes.
Viewers, just be careful who tries to enlist you when you're in Dubai.
Yes. And on that note,
flying drones in Dubai, you may become of interest to other organisations.
Other drone companies might be interested in using you. That's exactly what Andrew means.
Or security services, who knows?
Thanks for helping me to dive out of that one. I really appreciate it. Right, okay, guys, thank you very much for joining us on Geeksvana Live. I promise this will be the last live stream. Although the last time I said that, I actually then went on, because of different breaking news, to live stream every day following that for 4 days. So I'm kind of hope that doesn't happen. But coming up on Geeksvana, we've got some great videos on the insurance side of things. We've got some fantastic drone regulation videos. You can watch me crashing my FPV drone. Anything that happens with that drone, I am going to film it and I'm going to put it out there. So however good or bad it is, however good or bad I am with it, you will get that honest review from the point of view that I think it will help people who are interested in it, who might get it from that point of view, to see what it will actually do for them.
Sean,
let me waste my money, not yours.
Sean, can I just say, fly safe, please, fly safe.
Goodbye, everyone.
talking, and I need more of a show right now. It's time that you made your mind up, 'cause lately all